Today we're going to show you how we're going to prepare this area for planting for next year. What we're going to do is start off by using our string trimmer on wheels. We're going to mow this grass down about as low as we can possibly get it. We're going to come back through using a method that we learned at the Self-Reliance Festival last year with Billy Bond. We're going to use wetted cardboard. We're going to soak the cardboard using a tip that Jack Spirko had given us at that last Self-Reliance Festival last year. We're going to use a kiddie pool, soak the cardboard, get it matted down real thick, and then we're going to come back using all the wood chips that we got in a few weeks ago and that we showed in the last video. We're going to do a heavy layer of wood chips. So basically we're going to sheet mulch this whole area, be using that matted cardboard as the base layer. So we're going to go ahead and get this grass mowed down and show you what it looks like after that. All right, the next step that we're going to do here after we got the grass mowed down real low is use this broad fork just to loosen the soil. So this was suggested by Billy at the Permaculture Pimpcast when I wrote in. He suggested using a broad fork to loosen up the soil. So I went on a little bit of a mission because he said use a broad fork on looking for, well, number one, what's a broad fork and what does it do and where can I find a quality one. So I found this one from Treadlight. This is an American made, actually made in Wisconsin. Welded. You can see how heavy duty this thing is. Steel tubing, all welded. I'm assuming these holes are cut in here to lighten it up just a little bit. I went with the steel handles instead of the wood handles that was recommended. This is, I believe, the widest version that they sell. I figured it was a fairly good investment as far as the cost, but I think a lot of times you get what you pay for. So I have a solid steel constructed USA made tool, and I think I'll get a lot of use out of this. So what it says to do, you're stepping this into the ground, and this one is pretty wide. Like I said, I think it's the widest version. I think it's 30 inches, and then you're just prying this back up to loosen the soil. Prying it up. So we're going to go down this whole area that we had mowed down and use the broad fork to loosen the soil, and we'll show you the next step after that. We're doing what we're doing here. I planted this tree a couple years ago, and last fall I had used this cardboard method, and for the carbon I used straw and some leaf litter I raked up out of the yard. But you can see when I pull back this cardboard that you're able to go in here and how loose this soil is. All right, next, well, you can see we have the string line here. I did that for, well, one main reason. When we're doing this, any of these projects, we want to build the land and help our trees and everything, but secondly, we've got to make it look nice. We're going to try to make this area fairly straight as we're putting these wood chips down. So the next method I'm going to do, pick this up from Jack Spirko. He's the only one I've ever heard talk about it, but using horticultural molasses on your base layer. He was using it in reference to doing it for your garden, which I've done in the past, and I've seen incredible results with the worm activity. So that's the main reason, well, I think the reason why he had mentioned it is for the worm activity. So I went to the local supply store for hydroponics and things like that and picked up some liquid molasses. That's what they had. So I mixed that with some water, a couple glugs, put it with a gallon of water, or however big this mixer is. So it doesn't really have to be exact, but that's what I normally do. And then you're just gonna take this and we're just spraying down the area. After we broad fork, we kind of loosen up that soil. We're just giving the ground a little quench with this molasses mix. And like I said, the main goal there is to try to feed the worms. So once we put that cardboard over the top, we wanna kind of activate the worms. So we're gonna go through, spray this area with the molasses, and then we'll show you what we do with the cardboard next. Our next step, we have our clean cardboard. We were able to reuse one of these old IBC totes. We saved all this cardboard. The local grocery store saved it for me. So what we're doing now is just soaking it. So the key, if you're gonna use the cardboard mat as that base layer, you gotta get it wet. So what we're using the kiddie pool. We're throwing the cardboard right in there. I had learned from the last time I used this that cardboard wants to float. So I just take a 5-gallon bucket, fill that up with water, or you can step it down in there too if you got a good waterproof set of boots. But you need this cardboard completely soaked through. So you can see some of the bubbles coming up. That's as the water's going in, the air is leaving. So you're gonna have to let this sit there for a few minutes and really soak up before you set it down. So get this really wet, put it down, and then we'll put our wood chips on top. All right, as you can see, we have our cardboard down. We had a lot of small pieces, so we laid some of those down first and then found some of the bigger boxes to lay over the top. So really, I don't think you can go too heavy with the cardboard. Like I said, as long as you have it nice and wet. You can see the stuff is soaked. I'm half soaked, but get it nice and wet. One thing that I did skip over is like this. One of the common methods that a lot of people would do, they would use some kind of glyphosate Roundup spray, spray the grass where it kills all the grass, then they come through with a tiller, till everything, and then plant into it. What we're doing here, we don't use the chemicals like that, and we don't believe in tilling for the reason, one, it's going to creates compaction at the lowest level where the tines are, which we don't want. But also, we're trying to keep these worms and all the microorganisms in the ground. We don't want to till them and chop everything up and kill all this stuff. So we're doing it is a little bit more work. You know, you can see it was a little bit of work with that broad fork, and laying all this cardboard out. But we're not trying to kill the stuff in the ground. So doing it this way, we're going to build everything in the soil. All right, we're on to the last step here. You can see we had our cardboard down. We're putting down our wood chips. These were the pine wood chips that we had gotten from the local sawmill. We're going to put these down about 4 to 6 inches deep. So between the cardboard and laying these down, we're going to suppress all the weeds that are going to come through. And the main reason we're building the soil again is to plant into next year. So it's the end of July, and we're not going to get anything planted in here other than a little bit more garlic until next year. We're really hoping to build the soil up so next year's planting season, this area is ready to go. So you can see I got my work cut out for me. We're going to do this a section at a time. That way the cardboard stays wet, and it'll be a step at a time. So we're going to have to mow again, broad fork, cardboard, the soil drenched with the molasses, the whole thing. We'll do it a section at a time. So I've got a couple hundred more feet to go. So we'll catch you guys in the next video. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and keep an eye out for more content.